Now pivoting a little bit to talk about something a little different as we look at this data through the lens of what people are expecting from churches. We wanted to look at these things that we call the 5 dimensions of human flourishing. Now, over the course of these forums, if you stick with us in the weeks and months to come, you're going to hear us saying that phrase a lot, human flourishing. And the 5 dimensions of human flourishing are spiritual, financial, mental and emotional well-being, vocation or career, and then relationships as well, right? Those are the 5 dimensions. And as we consider leading our churches into the future, we really want to challenge you all to think more holistically about discipleship. And hopefully this data shows you why we would encourage you to approach discipleship more holistically. So if we look on the left side of our screen, we see churched versus unchurched people in Kansas City. And if they are interested in hearing from a church on these types of topics through their preaching and programs. And especially if we look at that unchurched percentage for spiritual development and, interestingly enough, mental and emotional well-being, that's the majority there, with 54% and 53% of unchurched adults saying, I'd be interested by that. Furthermore, 47% of those unchurched adults say they'd be interested in hearing about relational well-being. There's really an openness here, right? An openness to interact with the church or to look to the church for these types of like whole life things, right? Now on the right side, you'll see we cut the data by generation, and especially as we think strategically about reaching the next generation and serving them well, let's consider talking about things like financial well-being and mental and emotional well-being. Like David said, that's definitely going to be a huge thing we have to consider as we move forward into the future. So hopefully we can begin this conversation today and continue it as we move forward. What does it look like to have human flourishing as a part of our church programs and preaching?
Yeah, and if you could leave that slide up for just 1 second. Just notice the fact that you've actually got the one area where everyone would expect churches to help is spiritual growth and development, which is where all generations say, yeah, we'd be open and interested to that. But all the other areas, you get the question, you can see how interested would you be if Christian churches in your community offered preaching and programs to help you achieve the following. And younger generations are more interested in those other areas. So it's kind of, such a fascinating finding for me, because if Christianity doesn't matter in all of life, it's not going to matter in any of life for emerging generations, actually for any age. But such an important way I think we can minister, especially now to younger generations who are looking for the church to provide answers across a fuller range, a more holistic range of issues they're facing. Cool news, I think, for us as leaders.